What up, guys? It's Signature EP, and today we're gonna talk about some tattoos.
I'm not trying to be a copycat, dude. I'm not really trying to sell myself in a way that's not me. So honestly, this is just a way of my intro, me introducing myself. Like, hey, my name is Andy. I fucking love music.
Signature AP, clarity HD.
Growing up, the first tattoo I ever saw was The Undertaker from wrestling. I don't know if there's any wrestling fans, but you guys remember the American Badass, full sleeves, tatted up. That was Khalifa, Lil Wayne. Damn, man, this is really pointing out my age here. Tattoos were looked up bad upon, especially in my culture and in my family. Aside from people's opinion, I knew I was gonna get into tattoos when I saw Wiz Khalifa. I was just like, ooh, I like that. It's just a real cool way to express yourself. My mother hated tattoos, and I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of scared to get them. Gotta face those fears. So I went, and it probably wasn't the smartest decision, but I went and got my first tattoo in my boy's crib. He whipped out the machine. It was sanitary, you know, he had gloves and everything. Yeah, bro, the first one right here.
Who was it?
Tattoo Eddie, as a matter of fact. What's even crazier about Tattoo Eddie is that I remember doing this, and I was only a couple of weeks away from turning 18. So I don't know why I just didn't wait, but I didn't want to. I'm like, yo, he can do it. He'll do it. Well, the first tattoo, maybe it wasn't the craziest thing in the world, but anytime you get tatted, you gotta make sure you get what you want. And all of my tattoos, obviously, like everybody, they all have meaning. If I was gonna get something on my body, I wanted to make sure I was gonna be able to live with it, regardless of the artwork, because sometimes that's a factor, bro. Sometimes the artist is not the best. You learn that the hard way. Moving along, after getting my first tattoo, that little theory is right, bro. That's true. Sometimes it's like, you just have an itch for it, man, and then you get another one, and then you get another one, and another one. And before I knew it, I had half a sleeve. I was very conscious of where I placed them on my body, especially because moving forward in my life, I wanted to be sure I wanted to get a career and be able to have a job. And I held back on having tattoos where people could easily see them and they were visible. Hence why a majority of my stuff is hidden behind the shirt and whatnot. So my first tattoo is actually inspired by Method Man. It's an ambigram tattoo. It's those tattoos that you can read it one way, and then when you flip it upside down, it says something else, or the opposite. And the one that Method Man is known for is the life and death one, which is dope. But I also noticed a lot of people have it, which is not dope. So something for me, I wanted to find something that was unique and different, and the one I bumped into was one that reads blessed and cursed. I'm not gonna lie, it's definitely my favorite tattoo. It's my first and my favorite. Quickly after getting my first tattoo, it was just the letterings of it. I wanted to add more around it. I found a new artist. This guy does incredible realism and portrait work. So I went and got, at the time, what was my leopard gecko. He was a little pet. I had a little lizard, really cool guy. And I just tatted him on my arm right here to resemble new life, new growth. It's a symbol. Straight up, it's just a symbol, and I like what it represents. Plus, the touch of it being my actual pet, a picture that I took of, just a little extra touch to it. I kind of stuck around the world of my arm. I just kept on going there. So to fill up the next gap, I'm like, let me just put a dragon, but not just any dragon. It needed to be a specific dragon. And the only one I had in mind at the time was Shenron from Dragon Ball Z. I like it. Why not? So that, to me, if there's any tattoo on my body that's just like, oh, it's just a tattoo just to get it, it would be the dragon. All of these tattoos came in when I was 18, so it was growing. It was kind of like just happening with time. And because I was living in Florida for college at the moment, my artist was still back here home in Massachusetts. I ended up just getting tatted in Florida. And let me tell you, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. People, do your research, do your homework. Make sure you go to somebody you want to get tatted by. Don't just, oh, let me get a tattoo. I mean, there's that too, but I wouldn't recommend it. So like I mentioned before, my first tattoo was, my homie Tattoo Eddie. But then I found a Tattoo Row, new guy, and this guy was the one that did my chest piece. He did everything, bro. Aside from this first lettering, he did the rest of the work I have on me. My next tattoo with Ro was the double session. And the reason why I call it the double session was because it was a back-to-back. I had flown from Florida while I was in college, booked an appointment in advance, flew out here specifically just to get tatted by my guy. And the first tattoo was a chest piece right here. It's a beautiful owl. The following day, we did the hourglass on the inside of my bicep. The owl, actually. The story behind that was, like I said before, I respected my mom a lot. And I didn't want to tattoo something on my body that would, in a weird way, I feel like it would have affected our relationship. And at first, I really wanted a Grim Reaper. I really wanted that angel of death. But it's not, coming from a religious family and a religious background, it wasn't the best look. What is represented by the knight? An owl. Why not? So I just tattooed an owl on my chest, and the second I did it, I realized I'm like, damn, I'm like a walking zoo. I got a gecko, I got a dragon, I got an owl. But hey, man, it's just cool stuff. I liked it. Then I move on to the hourglass on the inside of my bicep, and that is just as what it is. It's time passing by, and there's nothing more precious in life than time. That's just a little reminder to always tell myself, yo, hustle, keep doing what you gotta do, get moving. You're wasting time. Don't waste time. Like I said before, these were all from my artist tattoo roll. After my first initial tattoo guy, I never went back to that first tattoo guy, nothing against him. But moving on with the rest of my tattoos, I was living in Florida at the time, and that got me to experiment with a new artist. And this was not anybody I had relations to or ties to. And I got a big Poseidon, Neptune, the god of water, whatever you want to call him. It's my sign, it's my little zodiac sign. So I got a big, huge piece on my right leg, my right calf area. And that dude just butchered me up. It was a 4-hour tattoo session. It kind of sucked. And the work just looked ass. But that didn't stop me from getting more tattoos. Quickly, as soon as I saw that heal up, I booked another session with my guy Ro, flew right back home over here, and I'm like, dogs, you gotta redo my leg. And there's only so much you could do with tattoos, so he was able to just tattoo right over it and clean it up, add a little more details, and make it tolerable for me to walk with the rest of my life. If anybody knows me, they know I'm a huge person against lettering and words. There was one time in life that I was going through a specific phase that I said, no, I have to tattoo these words on me. And it's a phrase very simple. Don't stress the little things in life. Words I live by every day. Crazy, bro, because the pandemic happened. And guess what I did? Didn't stress the little things in life. Since I was already established with tattoos on my body and I was content with the work that I was doing, I felt that I could experiment and get a little crazy. I was like, you know what? I'm tattooing my forearm. And the first thing I got was something to represent my culture, my roots. Me, coming as a descendant from Dominican parents, I was born here in the United States, but come on, man. We all had those Native American roots. We all have those Taino roots. So I got me my nice little sexy, beautiful Indian girl right here. She doesn't have a name, actually. I never named her. Let's call her Sexy. Right next to that, I also got, as a lighting guy, this little light bulb, modern day light bulb for intelligent lighting on my, not even. This is FLK or H. It's a light bulb, people. It's a light bulb that goes on a lamp. And then the big bad boy that I got, which was my latest and last tattoo, was, oof, it's hefty, is the eagle on my forearm. And this eagle on my forearm, I went in there with a state of mind. I walked into the tattoo shop that day, and I was like, listen, man, the only goal for today is to tattoo all this space, all that. And I went in with a couple of ideas. The eagle was one of them, a couple of other sketches and thoughts. So I left it in the hands of my artist to decide what would be best to fit in that space. And I left it up to his expertise to make it work. And that's exactly what he did. And once I saw the results, I fell in love with it. It was just a beautiful story being told unintentionally. We have the Native American Indian tie into the American eagle that defines me as a persona with my culture and my roots. And it's just dope. It's beautiful. I love it. I just love it. Make sure you go to somebody you want. Make sure you get the work that you want. Don't be forced into the situation. If an artist tells you they can't do it, or if you see it in their face struggling, go to somebody else. There's a whole bunch of shops out there. But tattoos are dope, man. They're a beautiful artwork. They're a great way to express yourself. People can make judgments off of you, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing. So it's always a good conversation starter for me. People always walk up to you, oh, that's cool. Oh, what does that mean? And it's just, you're a walking canvas. And I like displaying that art. Even in high school, tattoos were looked at really bad. But I'm in high school and I see other 16, 17-year-olds with tattoos. How did they get them? From who? They're not legal. You're supposed to be 18. How did that happen? But I seen it my whole life growing up, and I realized that it's a thing. It's a culture. It's either you in the community or you're not. And this is for all the people in my tattoo community. That wraps it up for this one, guys. That's a little bit of my tattoos and some of the story behind it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Catch y'all on the next wave.